Well, welcome to Bourbon Bite Size Learning. This is February. We are the second year into our second month into our calendar, and we're doing something a little different. This is different than anything I've done with the calendar recipes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It could be used probably as a appetite or like a snack as well as a meal. So let's get with it, and we're going to be using tuna today. Now, this calls for 3 5-ounce cans of tuna, and that's where you get into your preference. It recommends that you have water, the ones that are packed in water, but if you prefer the white tuna, albacore, you could do that. Or if this, I will tell you, this tuna is a lot cheaper. I paid like $1.17 per can. We're using 3 cans. This is a fairly economical, I think, recipe of what we've done, because a lot of the ingredients you probably have at home, and there's a lot of easy substitutions we're going to tell you about.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're going to break this tuna up a little bit. Tuna has a fragrance that fills the whole room, but it is very good for you.
It is. It's omega-3s in it, and February is heart month, so a good option for some heart healthy food, inexpensive food.
And I think as Americans we tend to not eat as much fish, not as much as we need. In Kentucky we're probably even really bad at it. We're like our meat, okay? we're not fishy people, but I love fish.
Yeah. Me too.
So to this fish, we're going to add 1/2 of an onion, small onion. Again, if you're not an onion person, easily adaptable, you can leave it out.
Leave it out. Or maybe a red onion.
Red onion could add some color. We have 1 stalk of celery.
This is great to use up because sometimes a recipe calls for 1/2 an onion, and so this is great to use up kind of leftover celery that's just hanging down there, that leftover bit of an onion that's left.
This is all very, very simple. I do like, it doesn't tell you this in the recipe, but anytime I'm adding ingredients like this, because the next thing I'm going to add is the mayonnaise, I like to get everything kind of all blended together before I put the mayonnaise in there, because the mayonnaise tends to grab whatever ingredient it touches. And we've got 3 tablespoons of mayo. Now, we're going to be putting this on bagels, which are over here. We got mini bagels. The recipe calls for mini whole wheat bagels. It has been the season to wipe the bread aisle clean. I could not find, I only went to one location in all fairness. I could not find the whole wheat bagels yesterday in the mini size, and I did want to use the mini size because I want to share with the people here and have as many as possible. And I got the regular everything bagel, but we're going to toast those. So we're going to put those under the broiler and toast them. That's the way we're going to toast them until they're brown. Probably should have done that at the beginning. That's not the way it's on the recipe, and I followed the recipe. But if we could have toasted those in the beginning, we'd be ready to go on with the next step. But we'll be right back. Okay, now our bagels are toasted. They got a little bit of brown to them, a little crispiness.
And that didn't take, I don't know, what, like 30 seconds maybe for that to happen?
Don't leave the room.
Don't
leave the room. So now we're going to take, depending on how particular you are about everybody getting the same amount, you can measure these out with a scoop, which makes it a little bit easier. And just put your tuna right on top of the toasted bagel. I burnt myself out on tuna in my younger years because that was always the dieting food. And this actually smells very good.
It does. I think it's the everything bagel seasoning.
I think so too.
To me, that just kind of elevates it just a little bit. I love everything bagel seasoning.
And I actually think we may have enough to have done more than,
Oh.
we had 5 bagels here and I cut them in half. So we've got 10 halves. Great math.
See, recipes and math today. I love that crunchy
I do too.
bread aspect of this.
I love toasty.
I do too.
I had for breakfast, I had pimento cheese on toast.
Oh.
It was delicious. It was the last of the pimento cheese. I'm gonna fill these up because I don't want to waste.
Mm.
I get there. Yeah, that's gonna fit. I was a little more conservative when I started out, so let's finish up what we got left here.
Remember, if you want your copy of this everything tuna recipe, to make sure you stop by the extension office and pick up your calendar if you've not already done that yet.
Now
Okay.
we're gonna top it with an apple, 2 slices of apple. They've got a great picture of this on your calendar, if you've picked up your calendar. And if you haven't, you need to stop by because we'll be moving on down to the next.
So if somebody didn't like apples, could they use any substitutions for it?
There's all kinds of substitutions for this whole recipe. You could do tomatoes, slices of tomatoes. If you don't have bagels, that's what I kind of liked about. You can have tuna, 3 cans of tuna in your pantry and be ready to fix this, okay? Because if you've got celery, you've probably got mayo. Let's say you don't have the bagels. They talked about in the recipe, you could substitute English muffins, okay? Or you could do a hamburger bun. You could use, it also talked about fixing these in the air fryer, which I thought, I'm running out of apple here. I thought that would be an interesting, because actually you're not cooking any of the mixture, okay?
Right.
You're toasting, and then you're going to put cheese on top of that. Everything's better with cheese. And I'm making a mess on I'm glad we have parchment on there because I'm making a mess on there. It's gonna burn.
But easy cleanup. I love parchment paper when baking.
If you wonder why I'm reaching, this pan's hot. So otherwise I would have,
Let me make that closer to you.
where we had it in the, we'll steal it from here. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. I got long arms. We're good. We're good. Now we're gonna pop this back under the broiler and again, do not leave the room. Just long enough to melt the cheese.
All right.
Wow, that looks great. After those come out, while your cheese is still melting, you can sprinkle with everything bagel. Now this is one thing, depending on your taste and flavors and all, you may not have in your pantry. And spices are a little bit expensive, but everything bagel, you could just create your own or pick your own favorite herb and sprinkle it on top. This everything bagel has, I was gonna read it to you. Here we go. Everything bagel has sesame seeds, salt, garlic, onion, poppy seeds, and then another sesame. So, you know, you can make your own. Or I'm curious, I love Italian seasoning, so I don't know how that would work, especially with the tomato.
Yeah,
if you've done tomato and Italian seasoning, I think that would be good.
Dill.
Dill would be good.
Because like typically when I have tuna fish, I put dill pickles in it or dill relish in it.
Right.
So I was like wondering how the dill would work in it.
Let's plate some of these.
Looks good.
There's your finished product, okay? Now, I think it could, one of them would be a snack for me.
Oh yeah.
A late morning, I'm not typically a breakfast eater, so, or heavy breakfast. So by late morning, that would be perfect.
Yeah, like a little brunch.
So you've got the food groups, you've got protein in your tuna, you've got fruit, You've got veggies with your celery
Yep.
and onion. You've got grain,
And a little cheese.
little variety. So we are glad you're joining us for this year, 2024. Hope you'll stop by and pick up those calendars and be ready to cook with us and try this recipe. I am excited. I haven't tried it with the tomato. I want to try it with the tomato. I think that will be fun. And my Italian and your basil will be good. Please leave some comments and share information about how this worked for your family or any other adaptations you make. One other thing I did not tell you is it would be one person or one recommendation with the recipe indicated that you could do all this in an air fryer, or you could toast your muffins in a toaster. Now, I wouldn't put the cheese down in there. You can do that in a microwave. Yeah. So there's a lot of things you could do with this recipe. So join us next month. We'll be ready for March and St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Okay. Happy Valentine's Day.